Hello everyone, let's take a look at the market. Boy, what a start of the week we've had. Everything was looking good the moment we held 84k, as we have been mentioning for a while. This fractal keeps pretty much going well with a huge push yesterday with a big candle from 87 to 93, 94 today. The various divergence that we were talking about, discussing in the last video, as I said, the price needed to invalidate it, and yes, it did. And also, I said, and this, I think this confirms why I don't really like the daily as a, apart from potential reversals like these divergences here, bullish, the bearish one we have here and here, right? Because I pointed out that this was overheated here, right? And perhaps a retest of the 84 and hold below 82k, 81, whatever. I pointed out that this could also happen, right? Push, keep pushing and coming back up until it finally decides to cool off, right? We don't know how it will develop, how high the push in price on the RSI can be. So that's why I don't really like the daily for that. So we had the lows. I said this lower low with this higher low was a confirmation for me. This is the reversal, and I think we can safely say that the bottom is in. I also mentioned that by the time the new narrative comes, the price could be way higher. 26% move from 74.75 to 94. And then yesterday, that's when we had the potential deal with China here, right? After all this move, after the potential reversal, right? After recapturing the MA in the daily, right? Now we have the, let's say, confirmation. What do people do now? Chase, right? So what's next? On the daily, I don't really know if we will come back a little bit, reset, perhaps forms as small divergences all the way to keep pushing. I don't really care, right? What I'm gonna pay attention to next is, as I have drawn here for quite some time, this will enter in, this become important and relevant again soon, because we've seen this cycle, right? We've reached this above 87, perhaps between 85 and 90, let's say, even not even 90, but yeah, so far. We've hit them, printed our divergence, and corrected. Hit them, printed our divergence, and corrected, right? The thing is, in this example, right, you have this price, this overheating level in this price, the divergence playing out, but the moment it completely reset, it was above, right? So that's why I don't only pay attention to this. I also use the weekly. So the thing is, we're going to pay attention to these potential levels on the daily and what price does next on RSI. We have it here, which was the start of the last impulsive leg of BTC, entering this top range while losing strength. And how can we also assess the strength and know if this is a corrective move in the making, right? Because this was November 11th. This strength that was fading lasted until mid-December, right? Like 1 month. So this is what I think will happen next again, because cycles repeat. This first impulse, right, is disregarded by many, right? But back here in January, right, this is the ETF launch top. Here there was a little bit of initial rejection, not a very big thing, right? People expect this, those who are in disbelief or bears will expect a rejection, so they wait. Once it is reclaimed and we can say, okay, we're really back, they ride or they join this final push, right? But these, if you see this, this is when it loses its strength. Why? Because it's not longer, in my opinion, that's my analysis, it's not longer spot driven. It's the futures market, right? Open interest gets higher, people chase with leverage, and smart money starts to distribute among those who are late, who just want to, they are greedy and they want to, okay, they think this is the confirmation, right? Not this breakout, not these potential reversals and changes, this, the greed leg, so to speak. And the same happened here, right? This is disbelief. They don't really know if this is the moment. I would buy the breakout, or I would even invest in these divergences if it's a spot like we mentioned here. So here, mid-November, December, if you go to the funding rate, right, 6 months, this mid-November, right, we can already see how it's starting to turn yellow. Okay, let me explain this a little bit if you don't know how funding rate colors work. The darker they are, right, if they are very dark, it means they you can see the negative 94% here in Ondo. This is there are many shorts piling, right? This is tremendously shorted coin, or let's say the market in this period is shorted heavily. So the other spectrum here, the APR, right, is very negative, many shorts. If it's overheated, like many longs, it's yellow, orange, right? So it started in mid-November, pretty much until the biggest, the cluster, it was here in early December, right? So we said 11 to the 5th, right? If we go to our, if we go here, it's mid-November. This breakout, okay, this is when people start chasing. Look at the RSI on the 11th. Exactly on the 11th, 83. It starts fading, and it's when funding rates keep increasing until the 5th of December. It's here, and then we have another push to a lower low here, lower highs. Sorry. So this was one of the metrics I used in confluence with USDT finding support, right? Finding support here, mid-December, right? Everyone started chasing this candle mid-December. We had the USDT finding a high time frame support. This is the weekly chart, remember that? High time frame support, while oscillators completely reset and a very bullish divergence forming, which is why I said this could be a local top. And this was the pattern, the path that I drew back then, and I haven't modified it. So, you know, it was just a guide of a potential lower high. This is the path I could expect. This would be huge. It would be like mimicking 2021 kind of run for altcoins. I'm not sure that's going to happen next. My big higher time frame target is retesting 377 again, like in the top in December. So it made a lower high, right? Not exactly this arrow, this path, but it made a lower high. And I drew this RSI level because in this cycle, this whole cycle, this was the distribution bear market for BTC. So it looks like a top for USDT. Remember, they are inversely correlated. So I drew this RSI level because I noticed that this whole cycle, RSI didn't surpass that. So I drew this here. We had a fake out, but we roll over. Now we had a bearish cross. Last time we had a bearish cross, September 24. What happened next? Q4 run until here. How far will we get back here? Will we cross it because it's in a real old season and we're running hard, like in September 2020 until January, February? Look how this bottom was forming. RSI was calling up. We had this reclaim in the RSI, MA. I mean, guys, I think I've been showing how accurate this high time frame thing is. All these MA and horizontal structures, even if we don't snipe the bottoms and the tops, if we get the meat of the moves, that's enough. Imagine the risking here, because we found this confluence, right? We found the potential support for USDT with bullish divergence. We have these various divergence here on BTC. We have the funding rate getting extremely overheated with Trump going. Look at this, 455% APR. This is freaking insane. This means loans are paying a lot to be open, right? This is ridiculous. This is like crime for liquidation, right? And if we change to the last week, 2 weeks, I don't care. Look at the funding rate, right? This makes me think people are not chasing the leverage yet. This is a spot-driven move because it was in the charts and also spurred with by the news, right? So people will start chasing once we reclaim key levels, which, by the way, I'm gonna switch to the weekly and see that we had this cross here. I said in the last video that perhaps market makers could make us suffer here with this pattern again, but I also said that I believe we're here because of the break of the trend line, the bullish divergence that's behind, which here it wasn't yet, right? You can see it wasn't here yet. We broke, and that's why I say I think we're here, and here we are, right? RSI stock RSI momentum keeps going up. It was already building here, right? Remember this, price going down, RSI double bottom, but stochastic RSI climbing. Strength was building even though price wasn't still reflecting it. And now we have the cross. And I believe with all this news, with these candles, which, by the way, I mentioned this green candle was an engulfing candle like it was here. How about that? And I said that was another confluence point for our reversal, right? Here we are. So this candle, if we are back into this range, which is now the key range to hold, to make this real, we are back kind of thing, right? We need to be above 90K, which was the support range, this top formation, right? We are well above that. The thing is, if we roll over here, if we cool off for a bit, because people just de-risk in case traders can de-risk, in case this is just in their eyes, this is just an exit pump. But if we hold it, in high time frame, always, I'm speaking mostly in high time frame when I think about my strategy. If we hold it, I think it's not crazy to say that the new all-time high could be tested, right? In intermediate level, there are some intermediate levels here. Let's say it's around 100K. I think it was around here, right? Pretty much. Yeah, this kind of range that we had some body candles closing around here or below. This could be another huge level, but the key to me is 91K, right? Then you could argue that 97 is another important level here, right? It was support here, resistance, it tried again, rejected. This could be the next one, right? But again, these are intermediate levels, and the moment we had these cross, I'm gonna stop caring so much about these intermediate levels and potential corrections, because the daily will get overheated, and at some point it will reset for some time. Let's see if in that moment BTC dominance also cools off and alts catch up. I don't really care. All I want to see now, because since this breakout we have these candles, then the final push, big push, expansion as we were mentioning back here. Yes, so we have this. I'm gonna pay attention now to this and this. So I don't care how we get here or here. This is the stage I wanna pay attention to, right? So time-wise, it is difficult to know, right? Because, for example, back here, we had these initial push. We lost these the MA, but price went sideways. That's why we need confluence, more confluence, right? The price where it held, I think it's a relevant spot. There's some moving average here as well. I don't remember which one now. But the thing is, we had another push back up, right? There was no divergence on the weekly, but we had 88 RSI March. And if we go to a daily, perhaps we find something in March. Yes, February, March, we have the various divergence on the daily. So when we see the weekly starting to get overheated, which I said here that I don't think this was the top, because 78 is not euphoria like we see in 2021 or even March, which was the meme euphoria. Everything was running hard. That was stupid. Pepe was, I think it did an 8x in 5 weeks or so. This, if we see these levels, right, we can say, okay, perhaps this is overheated. Let's go to the daily and see if we find any divergence. Let's go to the funding rate and see how it's all doing. And perhaps you can add some gold BTC ratio, check the USDT and how it's going. Let's see, by the way, what USDT did in March, because I don't really remember. Okay, look at this. It's all confluence. It's all here. March retests this support, which was resistant here, which was resistant here, support here. This is huge. Look at the oversold levels of USDT back in starting in February, March. This is pure confluence, man. It's all here. I mean, you don't have to just panic because, okay, we see this RSI overheated, or here, okay, I'm completely out of the market, man. I'm gonna wait for, I don't know, 30K. Wait for more confluence, right? Wait for huge overheated signals with weakness, which is various divergence. Let's wait for that, right? So for now, let's let it all run here. Okay, I want to quickly have a look at the. I'm gonna also chart some altcoins that you have requested. But first, look at this. I posted that the smart money positions when people are looking at the shiniest object, which in this case was gold. Gold was getting all the headlines. New all-time highs. This gold run has legs. It's strong, blah, blah, blah. And I opened the gold BTC chart. I opened it here, right? I'm gonna look for it actually. Let me just look for it because I want to show you what I saw back then, not just the tweet. Let's see if it charges. Okay, here it is, right? I said this is the bear market, regular divergence. Regular divergence is a trend change. This was the bear market for BTC 2022, right? Then the first divergence, but hidden, which means continuation, was, I'm going to open the chart again. Here, March. The ratio, gold BTC ratio, gold was oversold compared to BTC. Boom. We have the correction, but we print the first divergence, right? When? September. Bottom for BTC. We break the MA in this correction. The various divergence that's playing out. We break the MA when? October. Huge run until December. Gold finds its bottom. RSI starts climbing back. Breaks in January. On the 20th. Trump's day, huh? We local top for BTC. Do you remember that? Local top for BTC, which by the way, I posted that it could happen. Why not? Sell the news, right? Here. Local top, Pico top, right? And then what do we have? Boom, RSI climbs back again, which is what I mentioned here. Look where RSI was. This is a new divergence. What I expected, since it's a new hidden divergence, I expect continuation. Our stock RSI overheated. I'm sure they are the ones buying gold at this point. Sure, they are unloading, right? They are loading BTC while they make gold run for plebs to buy gold to dampen them. I don't know if gold will have another push, perhaps the last push with no strength, whatever. And this is what we have now. A big candle, BTC outperforming, the RSI going back very close to breaking and retesting the MA. The last time it happened with a huge run in Q4, Stock RSI already cooling down. More confidence for what's next. Let's go to the gold chart. This is I posted it with the monthly chart. I'm gonna show the daily to pinpoint the most exactly point actually for this tweet. I said that this is the gold chart. Is this the chart of an asset that's supposed to keep running for much longer? We also mentioned in my videos that I hope you have been watching this RSI level, right? And I said here, okay, is this the chart that's gonna keep going higher? The daily was reaching previous rejection levels, right? Okay, so we have on the weekly, shooting star, by the way. What do we have RSI wise on the weekly? The same RSI level which I posted here, the top in 2020, right? Correction here in 19 for a few months. Same here, last correction, October, and we don't even touch it here now. And this is what I posted in the monthly, right? Okay, it's not gonna show exactly when it was April, right? Here, RSI, yes, I said no diversion yet, but this is a blow of top move. Look at the monthly RSI. The time it topped in 2020. We are at this level even surpassing it. I said that perhaps you could say this is perhaps a divergence showing lack of strength, but this is weak. Anyway, would you buy this? Of course not. Technical wise, of course not. People chase because, okay, if this is going up, it's because it must be good. You know that. If you've been through that, probably, with altcoins and fucking shillers on Twitter saying that's the new 5x, 10x is here, right? While everything is freaking overheated and people are overexcited. This is technically not the time. The same way we said USDT, gold and BTC was going to reverse, technically speaking. Okay, now let's go to BTC dominance. Again, I said that this is the Fibonacci level. It was surpassed this week finally, right? And I said that this break, if it happened, it could mean nothing like this one, right? But it has to start somewhere, the reversal, right? We don't know when. We don't really care. It made sense, and I said that, it made sense for BTC dominance to go up while BTC was rising. And the thing that altcoins were also rising while everything was rising meant that the new money was coming in, right? If alts were crashing while BTC dominance was going up and BTC was also going up, it would mean a rotation from altcoins to BTC, so no new money in the system. USDT has been dropping hard. Look at this weekly candle. If we go to the daily, it's even clearer, right? Perhaps a bit messy. We can see it's clear. It broke the here, and I said that when you break it, bearish retest, we have acceleration. Every time we are below the EMAs or above, I don't care, we normally have acceleration. And we have a 15% drop in 13 days. That's huge, right? So, is this, I said that perhaps we have some week above it, and I believe this could be the top, right? And we could argue that this bearish divergence that I mentioned here, right? Which I believe this could be this rollover could be the top eventually, but at the same time it didn't make much sense because BTC was trying to reclaim new highs, new previous levels and previous highs. So it wasn't a recovery process. It didn't make sense that BTC hasn't fully recovered and we have an old season. I know that's what everyone wants, but remember, the higher the BTC goes, the bigger the rotation will be. So for now, let BTC go higher, let alts just have some small catch-ups here and there. This is the new weekly cycle, right? And once BTC is finally established and finally over, like perhaps here, right, November, getting overheated levels, right? Even though there wasn't a daily divergence, perhaps this one, after getting overheated, right? Boom, we have the big push down. oversold levels, right? The moment we have, it doesn't mean that every time we found these oversold levels, we're going to pump back and it's over. There's not going to be an old season ever, just short periods. No, the moment it triggers hard, right? Alts are going to fly, and we don't know when that's going to happen, right? The thing is, I think this is the moment to be patient. So these various divergence could be well extended here and say it's still forming. So perhaps this is like a 4 tap various divergence. So perhaps this is the time that it rolls over. I don't really care, and I don't really want to see it now, because that could mean that this is an exit pump for BTC and that no new highs are in the horizon, right? If we see alts running so fast now, right? Remember that after the breakout in September, this was dominated by BTC, and people were waiting. Why are my alts not running? What's going on? And then boom, we had the correction. While BTC mid-November, remember mid-November here, it started to form this push but chopping, and that was when it was losing strength, and altcoins had this big run first in November and then late November, early December. Again, funding rates super hot on BTC dominance, together with all the other confluence points, signaling that, okay, perhaps it's enough, right? So on the weekly, isn't this interesting? On the weekly, we have so far a weekly candle that might end below the Fibonacci level. Right now it's toying with it. Again, I don't really care, but the good news is this is still looking great. Again, entering this overheated territory, you could do something like this, as we have seen with USDT and gold and such. So far, so good. Monthly, again, Fibonacci level, perfect so far retest, right? Like here, test, no divergences. Let's not pretend there is, right? Because there isn't, even though I have drawn this in the other chart, there is no divergence, right? But the thing is, it is getting very overextended. Again, this is not a chart you would buy if it was an altcoin, so just wait for the rollover. Again, even just a drop to the golden ratio, which we mentioned in the last video, could be huge for altcoins. Remember this candle? 61, 60 something to 57. This was a huge run in the Q4, man. Many altcoins going 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x with just a small candle, like a 5% move. Imagine this 8% move. Small altcoins perhaps doing 7x, 8x, big caps 2x, 3x easily. I mean, if we have a cascade down to this level, as in a kind of a old season and huge drop, something similar, right? I'm not gonna say it's gonna be as big as this, because this was tremendous. But even if we have something like this, that could be huge for your altcoins. And we will be monitoring this. But if we somehow manage to break below the MA like we did here, especially what we did here in 2021, buckle up, because this could be something like this, right? So BTC dominant would crush. Altcoins will go way higher than we imagine. I'm not thinking about targets. Again, I'm going to exit when the oscillators tell me to exit, whether I like it or not, right? I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to stay longer because I want some more, because price hasn't really given me all I wanted. I'm not going to exit early because it has gone higher than I expected very fast. But if oscillators tell me it's not enough yet, I could do the risk partially, right? And progressively. That's another strategy. But I'm going to let technicals guide me once again, right? It's going to be hard. If you haven't gone through that, it's going to be hard. Emotions are going to clutch your judgments. Perhaps you stop watching these technicals and only see price, and you follow and retweet accounts that tell you we are going to go to the moon, that this is the time for it. This is perhaps even a new cycle, super cycle again, like in 2021. Fuck that, right? Don't fall for that. So now I'm going to open the list of coins that I have noted that you've been mentioning on Twitter. Let me find them first. Let's start with Rose, which is, I gotta say that I haven't charted these coins, right? So this is going to be the first time I chart them. So first of all, we'll start with the weekly. And again, this is something that we have to bear in mind, right? The fact that we have a cross, right, and a push on the weekly doesn't mean price is gonna be it's gonna go insane, because again, this depends on BTC dominance, how far it falls, and how strong the chart is itself, right? So don't expect that huge move, because every time this crosses, there's a huge move no matter what. No, it's a big impulsive move, but we don't know the height. The heights, sorry. So perhaps what we see here, this looming cross, right, which is already showing, perhaps we see a lower high and another lower low, which would be bearish, right? Even worse, we can make a bearish divergence, right? So what are we going to pay attention to? Well, if we have this, if we are lucky to have this, then you know when to exit. The thing is, getting to 86, imagine you don't live here, right? You don't exit here. You don't, because you think we can go higher, right? And then you see this drop, 32%. It goes below the MA. Man, you start thinking I should have gone out, man. It's like every time we go below, price accelerates. That's the theory, right? But that's only a possibility. Remember that. It normally happens. It doesn't mean it always happens. So we had another push. And if you were lucky to have this push, you didn't exit here, you have a bearish divergence of the weekly, and this is your signal. If you want to hold, good luck. But I would completely exit. Why completely? Because this is something I have learned the hard way. You think, okay, no, but perhaps I'm going to just sell 50%, right? Because what if it goes higher? Sure. But what if it goes lower? Even worse, you keep holding because to the moon. Is this to the moon chart 87%? Do we really know? Are we aware what we need to come back to break even? Even almost 8x to undo an 88% correction. Seriously, sell high, wait for another position, not in this coin, just whatever. Go back to Bitcoin, go back to any other strong chart. Don't marry your bags. And especially in altcoins, the risk. Seriously, it's way better to the risk here, right? The risk here, when you see these huge overheated levels, the risk here, even if it's in this half, in the candle, yes, you leave this. Oh man, a 78% move, man. I could be, fuck, man. Let's say I have 10K. It's like 17K, man. I could have 17K. Yeah, hold it. And let's see what your 17 paper K you have here. Look back here. Right? Because you're gonna have below 2K, and you're gonna start saying, if you hold this, right, for a whole year, a complete drawdown, right? This is insane mentally. And now you pray, because this is gonna haunt you. You pray for 8x just to go back to this level, and you think, okay, if we magically go back here, I will sell. Are you sure? Because when you back here, you're going to ask yourself, well, perhaps this is a new really strong move. Perhaps this is the old season. Do I really want to sell here right before it goes back up? That's the trap, man. So it is easier to sell here, leave some money on the table, and then with your 17K, I mean, sorry, it's 10K instead of 17. With your 10K, you might buy here or just go back to BTC and wait for clarity, right? But imagine you sell here, December 23. What price was BTC in December 23? $40K. Let's say you go back to BTC because you have no clarity. 10K, right? And then you go back here to 100K, even if you haven't sold yet. It's more than 2x. So now you have 20K instead of 2K in this shitcoin, right? Instead of 2K here, you have 20K, and now you can rotate to the coin you choose after seeing how they have developed. You are compounding. So you have 10x more money exiting here and rotating back into BTC, even if BTC rechases. Is that a bad strategy? I've been through that. I wanted to make the most with just a small money. Okay, my idea as a noob was, okay, I have more small money, I have to risk it all, right? In a high leverage kind of coin with just shit coins, right? And the smaller the cap, the better, the higher the returns. That's bullshit, by the way. You will learn the hard way. But years later, I was praying to go back to break even. If you don't give up before and you say this is a fucking scam, I'm out, and you lose money. But you know what? You're gonna keep watching crypto or markets in general, even if you leave, and you're gonna feel regret if it all comes back up. So please, that's my advice. That's what I've been doing lately in the last couple of years or year and a half. Trust me, you sleep way better and you stay in the game for longer, right? This is like hitting the gym. You're super excited. You go like hardcore mode for a month and you are exhausted. Your diet is full of vegetables. You barely eat because it's disgusting and you're tired, but you keep going. You keep going. And 2 months later, you're completely out because that's unsustainable. So it's better to just miss one day or or cheat with some cheat meals a couple of days. But a year later, because you haven't given up, you're in a way better position. You've been compounding. It doesn't have to be perfect, which, by the way, I have these. I mean, technically speaking, this is a huge level, and this is a deviation that was also a divergence. So in case of Rose, I don't really like this chart in the long term, right? We might have a break, but the trend is negative, right? I'm gonna show different coins, right? And bear in mind these November lows, because the coins I'm gonna show that are strong, right, did this and have respected November lows. This has made a lower low. Would you have an exit pump? Yes, but perhaps a lower high, right? So I'm gonna be quick because I have many coins to check. Some of them I really don't know what they are. So excuse me if I open a chart from an exchange that is relatively new. Again, all coins are looking like breaking out. This is a chart in a clear downtrend. I'm sorry, but this is what it is. I mean, if it had held again the November lows, I would be more positive. So the first resistance level, the first key level to see what's next is perhaps a 2x from here, from current levels, right? That would be my target level for now. If I see rejection here, I would be out of this coin. I don't know your entry. I don't know who posted or who suggested it for me to check it, but I would be completely out here. Perhaps if I see rejection, if I see overheating levels, if I see the whole market is looking to cool off again, because this is very likely. This is clearly a downtrend. This is not a strong coin. Can every coin run hard in an old season? Absolutely. Even the shittiest one. Would I bet on that? No. Next, I have IXS. Oof, this smells like a very small coin. Okay, I don't even know if this is worth charting, in my opinion. If you have a good entry on this one, I wanna just perhaps ride it like a moonbag, you can do that, but this is not a coin that can be charted. If you go to the daily, this is weird as fuck. I'm sorry, I don't even know what this is. I don't even know if this is the right coin, but I think it is. Oh, perhaps this chart is better. Okay, this makes more sense. This coin looks like it's found its bottom here in this downtrend, right? It has crossed again on the RSI, the MA, and perhaps this is a good bullish divergence, right? It has to break this level, right? It has to break. Perhaps next is testing this one. It has to be above this one to think about higher levels, right? So the most immediate level is 20 cents. This is not a big push for that, but this is perhaps the biggest one, right? Which actually stands here. This is resistance. This is the key level to break, 32. I would monitor this level if I were you, right? We have this fake, this bearish retest, but now we are building a divergence, so perhaps this is enough to push again, right? Next one is render. I remember I had render for a few weeks back in 2024. In March, it was doing really, really well. Let's see how it is doing now. Yeah, I remember holding it here, right? We're buying some push, but then I rotated into Ondo. I was kind of lucky actually, because it was really a ticking bomb. 91, holy shit, this is insane. The run this coin had, tremendous, 9x from the breakout here in September. So that's why your entry is important, because if you have this RSIMI, this is lost here, you can hold this. You can, why not? Your entry is huge. If you bought here, you better pray. You never buy overheated levels. Even if you say, okay, but price didn't go that far down, you don't know how far it's gonna go. So you buy the breakout again here, which was pretty much, by the way, the same level, but now it is reset. Buy the breakout and you write this. So what I see now, it's been pushing hard because it's been breaking, it's broken earlier than others, right? That's why it is a 67, sorry, percent. Not looking bad. I think this is a key level that is breaking above, right? Perhaps it could be a huge deviation here, right, since January. And if this support is reclaimed, which might have some retests here, the big next move we have is this one intermediate and the previous high here in December, right? These are the levels I would target. We have room for that. Again, let it all run the same way it did here, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we, yes, reject here this previous top, but there's still strength and we keep pushing, right? So let it play. I mean, both coins, you have to let them play, right? Something I don't like about this is it made a lower low, it lost in November's low, but it is now reclaiming it. So perhaps, yes, this is just a deviation, and in the future this could look like a huge entry, which, by the way, look at the level it bounced from. This is not a bad looking chart, right? We have, I think, clear levels here. You can take a note if you want. And now we go to VELO, which, by the way, is one I have. My dear VELO. I think I have a better chart for this one. I don't remember which. Okay, this is the one. I posted here that this could be a deviation, that we had a bullish divergence, bearish divergence in a different chart you gotta excuse me because I don't really, let me just look for it for a second, okay? Because I have a very, very interesting chart with VELO, right? In which I posted that this could be the huge level, right? This is it. I posted that it was back when it was at, I think it's 1.5. All this resistance, the moment it turned into support, right? 150, I think it is. This was the next big level, right on the high time frame. This was perhaps the final target for this season. And what do we have? What did we have? Exactly that. Double top of the 3.5, right? With the various divergence on the weekly, very overheated levels, right? And I posted on March 12th that despite of this carnage, it was holding the November lows, right? So these are the November lows. It wicked below even with a candle, but this is a deviation, but it was fast to recover it. And in that time, we printed a bullish divergence. It's about to crush. Momentum is loading. So even if we have some intermediate level here, perhaps at 20 2 cents, this is going to be my next high time frame target. How long is it going to take? 3, 4 weeks? I don't really care. We know all coins can really run fast and hard when they are ready. The difference between other shitcoins that we have, I have just charted, and this is why I bought this one. This is making from the bottom higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low. This wasn't a higher high, but it was a higher low compression. This is the compression that we've been mentioning, and it broke to the upside, higher high, pretty much higher low, at least not below with bullish divergence. And you have also this pattern, which I'm going to look for it, by the way. Give me a second, because I think I mentioned it. The Adam and Eve pattern, right? Which it breaks, retest, and go. This was with VELO of 1 cent and 7, right? What happened next? We tested the cluster at 3.5. This was the monthly chart. This was what made me buy VELO at around 15, something like that, right? I posted it here. Even lower, 1.3, right? This is Adam and Eve, like textbook. No one is paying attention to it because they see this. It's a fucking shitcoin. I don't care about the shitcoin. I see the chart. This is huge, right? But it's my moon back, which means I have a small money on this because there is risk. Of course, these coins run hard and drop hard, but it's strong in my opinion. I'm not biased because I have this. At the risk a little bit here, I should have the risk it even more because we have this divergence and this even more, and the double top of the region that I said that was going to be a big target. So we have a double top of the various divergence at high time frame resistance. I mean, what else do we need? This looks good. Let it run. The moment it crosses, it could just skyrocket. When it did here, it did a 200 move from November to December in a month. Not bad. Next, we have GALA. Oh, GALA, I remember this with the multiverse back in 2021. Again, already breaking out this week. Wow. GALA really moves, or has been moving this cycle in this kind of spurs, like Dogecoin, pretty much. It has retested the October lows, summer lows. No divergences here, though, on the weekly, perhaps on the daily. The thing is, I think it's clear that the biggest time frame, the biggest target here is this. Clearly. So perhaps holding this until 5 cents, even pretty much 6 cents, makes sense, and then reevaluate, right? I mean, I would pay attention what we see in between, perhaps in the daily. We have some weekly and some weakness in the whole market, but this is my main target for now. Could it flip? And if we have an out-season push to new all-time highs, well, I mean, that would be huge. I wouldn't bet on that. Just one step at a time. This is a huge level that has to break. For now, this was a huge candle. This was a deviation, right? Which was confirmed here by resistance, the same way it has confirmed the, well, support, which is actually the bottom. At least it didn't make a lower low. This could be also a deviation. It's range bound, right? One can argue that this coin has been in accumulation because it happened at the bottom for the whole cycle. And once it breaks this could really pop. But that is just like very free interpretation, right? It's really oversold on the monthly, like when it was here. So it's a good play, perhaps until 6 cents, right? Then we have LMX. I swear to God, LMX, perhaps IMX, yes. I don't know these coins at all. And let's go to the weekly because the monthly is too much. Again, it has crossed earlier than other coins, which is why it's already been pumping 68%. And what we have here, this is something I don't really like because the lows in October, it's not just a deviation, it's clearly a lower low. It's below September 23. Now it has reclaimed these lows at least. So yeah, this could be a deviation, but the fact that it has lost these November lows because the push in November and December wasn't very strong, it's not very I don't know, it doesn't show a strength for me, or perhaps that it's not its time yet, right? So first level resistance is going to be this probably, right? It was here, this was support, so $1.10 perhaps, you know, pretty much like a 100 and something % move is the move right now. Let it run and see if it stopped here because BTC also stopped, but you can see it wasn't its time, right? Again, American coins are the narrative, and the all these RWA, real world assets, payment methods, all that is the narrative this cycle, and we have to adapt. It doesn't mean it can run like it did here from the bottom. I mean, even 5x. Not looking bad at all, but I would for now play it to this level and then reassess. Then we have CPOOL, which I've been seeing for quite some time. Let's see. Oof. This took a big hit. Real big hit. Yikes. 80% from December. This is terrible looking. But it's about to cross. It seems it found a double bottom here. There is much work to do. This candle will probably be filled to the upside, but I don't really know what to expect from this one. Perhaps we could target these, right, with support and resistance here. This could be the next big resistance level, right? So 23, 24. So we gotta see how overheated or strong it gets here, right? Before thinking about anything else. Perhaps it just overshoots, retest, bump. But I think market has to be very favorable for these two, because this is an 80% drop. This is tough. Again, it's been dropping non-stop. So I don't know, perhaps this is the capitulation candle, the bottom formation, and then we have some room to go. If you manage to buy around here, let it run and see perhaps how high it goes. By the way, I'm saying what I would do. Sorry, I don't want to give advice. That's not my intention at all. I'm just like speaking to myself, right? Let's see the next one. Again, every time I see these lows lost, not even November, even summer lows, this doesn't look good. to me. I mean, this is a clear downtrend. Yes, it breaks. Yes, we can have another push. But this is not. Imagine all we had was this. Perhaps these lows are respected. This could be a very likable target next. But since these lows are not respected, this becomes resistance, right? More or less. So you can see they rejected here, pretty much even here. This is a downtrend, and it has to reverse by making a lower high first. Sorry, higher low first. So level by level, I would like to see these turn into support to start thinking about this, about 20 or something. I don't really like the general structure. Remember that those that are outperform are normally those who have a stronger structure, right? Even though in a huge old season like in 2021, that's the real data point we have, because 2017 was different. We don't have much data point, but history says that with that occasion, altcoins can really, really push, even if they are shit. So we'll see. Next one, Veracity. Oh boy, Veracity. I dumped this. Oh look, this is still this chart. Previous swing high. It wasn't a bad call, right? I didn't get there. We got the first 14, right? I dropped this in, I think it was October, right? I have a tweet about that. I dropped it around here because I was already tired of this, how it was looking and how the team was managing everything. Even though back then I really paid attention to what the team was saying, yeah, but not anymore. So I dropped it here, and since then, even though it has, I said it was looking good. Let me look for it, because I don't want to pretend that I say things that I haven't said. I want to show. I want to keep the receipts, right? This is the chart, right? Not many will care, but despite the chart, it's still looking good. I've sold all my Veracity positions after 2.5 years, right? Too many red flags. I said the chart was still looking good, and yes, they had another push, right? Well, it was December. I said October, it was December, sorry. So, since December, pretty much, if I had held, I would have lost another 85%. I would be fucking down this cycle. And this move, all this move we have seen recently, and since then, I would have missed them completely. I switched to Injective and rolled it to March, and then I switched to VELO and Ondo. That has been my altcoin selection. So far, I dropped this coin because this looks very bad. I don't know what's next, but I can imagine it's another lower high, right? This is a bad looking chart. There is no way to sugarcoat it. It's even below the bear market bottom. That's terrible. So this will be the next resistance. But perhaps this is one of the coins that are so fucking trash and so fucking abandoned that they pump it the hardest, like they did here. It was bad, nothing, boom. This is a huge out season, by the way, 85x. This is kind of these moon bags that you hold just in case it go crazy. This is not a chart that I will put my money, my whole money or big money on. That's why I dropped it. TOKENFI, the next one. Jesus Christ, I don't even know what's going on. All those coins are. Is this token? Is this the coin? Sorry if it isn't, right? Again, clear downtrend. October lows lost, not even just slightly, like 70 something percent. I'm sorry guys, but these kind of shit coins are very hard to chart, at least seriously. This is even lower than the launch price. I don't know how high it could go. I assume this would become resistant first, and if it managed to break above it, this will be the next target. Like 2, 3, 5. I don't really know. This looks bad. Next one, Shrapnel, Jesus Christ. Shrapnel. I guess this is ooh. I think I haven't checked this is the first time I'm checking all of this. I assume these are all small caps, but this looks awful. Terrible. I mean, even if it crosses, we can have just a little perhaps exit pump. This looks very, very bad. I don't even know if it's worth charting this. I don't even know if this target, like a 2x, is feasible without a real crazy old season where everything pumps. Not looking promising at all, but this could be perhaps the highest level. Support here and double rejection here. This could be. This is the only, let's say, data point I can find here. Looking bad. Let's see what's next. This is the last coin I have for today. Ava AI. The USDT. Okay, this is the. Is there any other exchange where it's been for longer? I don't really care. Sorry, I don't really know, but perhaps I don't know. Anyway, it seems it's a new coin. Difficult to, well, even RSI is not. It's not there. Go to the daily. Again, even it was holding here. February. It was launched in December. Yeah. Use the euphoria to pump a coin and then dump it. This is not good. But anyway, you had these overheated levels on the daily, the various divergence, so enough to exit at least partially. And now we have this. We have left this potential bottom on strong level behind, and now we are facing resistance here, which is expected, right? Which was resistance here. All right. Pretty much here, support. Break this, hold it, and perhaps just might start thinking about having a crazy push back to also high, but it's a very new coin. It's hard to tell. So it's been a long video today because of all these chart altcoins and everything I wanted to check. So hopefully you will find it useful. I wanted to lastly, yes, kind of a time frame, right? Since the bottom here was September until December, right? So it was like 3 months of run. If we take this as the bottom, right? 3 months, last June, perhaps for the next local top. And then maybe then we have a crazy altcoin season summer, right? Because it topped BTC top around here, started distributing, and then it was when we had the crazy old season from January to May. Remember, just a couple of weeks or a month at most, we can see tremendous gains in all season, erasing completely bearish action for months and even years. So use technicals, and if we see BTC dominance breaking down, that's all we need, right? We will try to track it all. Hopefully we will time a very good exit. We won't panic. We won't sell early, hopefully, and we won't back hold. It's always better to leave money on the table. So I hope you find this useful, and I'll catch you some other day. Bye.